The internet is something that we all use every day, and many of us can't imagine our lives without it. The internet and all the technological advances it offers has changed our society. It has changed our jobs, the way we consume news and share information, and the way we communicate with one another. There is nothing else like it. It's one of the greatest inventions of all time. But do you ever stop to think why it was created in the first place? How it all happened? Or by whom was it created? The short answer is that no one really owns the internet. But the long answer is not really how you think it is. The internet is a connection of wires running all across the world, connecting computers worldwide so they can communicate with each other. The internet is also guided by a set of rules called protocols, so computers can talk with each other reliably and effectively. Then there's the Internet Service Providers, or ISPs. ISPs are companies that provide routers and cables that make up today's internet backbone. Companies like AT&T, Verizon, Level 3, IBM, TLDT, and Globe are part of the internet backbone that control data traffic in their specific regions or countries. The individual computer networks that make up the internet can have owners. Every ISP has its own network. Several nations' governments oversee computer networks. Many companies have local area networks that link to the internet. Each one of these networks is both a part of the internet and its own separate entity. Depending on local laws, the owners of these networks can control the level of access users have on the internet. You might consider yourself to be an owner of the internet. Do you own a device that you use to connect to the internet? If so, that means the device that you own becomes part of the enormous inter-network system. You are a proud owner of part of the internet. It's just a very small part. The internet works because of protocols in place. These protocols need to be updated, and organizations like the Internet Society, the Internet Engineering Task Force, the Internet Architecture Board, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers are international non-profit organizations that regularly update the protocol to be up to the standard. 1900. Nikola Tesla envisions world wireless systems. 1930. Paul Otlet and Vannevar Bush mechanized searchable systems of books and media. 1962. JCR Licklider popularized and envisioned an intergalactic network and spearheaded ARPANET. Leonard Kleinrock, packet switching, a reliable method for transferring electronic data that became the building blocks of the internet. July 3, 1969. ARPANET, Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, was funded by U.S. Department of Defense that used packet switching, allowing computers to communicate through a single network. August 29, 1969. The first network switch and IMP interface message protocol as the first network equipment in UCLA research labs. October 29, 1969. ARPANET tried to deliver its first message via node-to-node communications from UCLA research lab to Stanford. It would have been a success, but it crashed midway and was only able to send LO in login at Stanford. 1970s. Robert Kahn and Vinton Cerf developed the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP or IP, as a standard for how data can and should be transmitted between multiple networks. This was created not only to provide a standard on how a computer communicated with another over the internet, but also created a failsafe when something bad happens. Robert Metcalfe develops a system using cables that allows for transfer of more data over a network. He names this system Alto Aloha, but it later becomes known as Ethernet. 1983. January 1st, 1983. ARPANET adopts the TCP or IP, and it was this key moment that pushed the researchers to begin the assembly of networks of networks. Dave Farber of the University of Delaware reveals a project to build an inexpensive network using dial-up phone lines. In 1962, the PhoneNet system is established and is connected to ARPANET and the first commercial network, Telenet. The Ethernet makes it possible for the establishment of local area networks. 1990s. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, that is often confused for the internet itself, But the World Wide Web is just a way for people to access data online in the form of websites and hyperlinks sent to them. 2000. The rise of domains and the .com is on the rise. Google also rode this event that led them to the meteoric rise to dominate the search engines used for the internet. The rise of handhelds and wireless fidelity or Wi-Fi also paved the way for the first ever cat video on the internet. People of all ages, sexes, races, and social status use the internet. The internet is for everybody who wants to connect, research, and communicate with basically everyone else in the world.
Long back during the early development of the internet was used mainly by scientists for research and development, and the military for defense and tactics. On its current phase, internet offers more than what it takes as it opens to the public worldwide. Everyone can now access virtual materials in their hands instantly. As of the internet's capabilities, the internet has opened various frontiers that have revolutionized politics, education, commerce, and socialization. Despite these expansive opportunities in the advent of the internet, there are regulatory policies implemented by the governments and private agencies all over the world to control and restrict internet content in accordance to rights and protection towards its users. Spread of information has someone looking over it. They make laws and policies that makes the internet fair for everyone who uses it. People understand that the internet is too liberated. That's why the government has to be part of it as well. As the government make the internet fair, people who seek education also benefit from this fairness. People turn to the internet to expand knowledge for personal or scientific researches, either by self-diagnostic means to elevate their illness on WebMD for example, or answer a question in need to resolve the current issues faced in a particular field. The internet makes the search for information convenient. It has provided greater source of information than traditional libraries, as reference materials are available in immensely comparable to a traditional library. Everyone can portably handle books in virtual without physically taxing printed materials in hand. Digitized materials can be found online and be downloaded with a click of a button. In this current age, users use the internet to hop in calls to create meetings and seminars. This solidifies the effectiveness of internet in the field of education. This fairness extends to social networking and markets. Social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, and the likes allow people to communicate with friends and other people. Socializing has never been easier than ever before due to the rise of internet as meeting new people, setting up plans, and meetups opens a channel for wider communication options. The internet also opens avenue for commerce from stock exchanges to small-scale businesses. It can be found online. People can sell through online market outlets like Lazada and AliExpress or make use of the advertisements for promotion of a product or service. Despite this beneficial promotion of the internet, there have been issues being encountered on the long run that impede societal development like as follows. Information overload. Having too much information to be able to adequately understand an issue or make effective decisions. Information overload is associated with loss of control, feelings of being overwhelmed, reduced intellectual performance, and diminished job satisfaction. Studies show that information overload affects up to 20 to 30% of people. Damage to social relationships. Extensive internet use of social media in particular is correlated with loneliness and social isolation. Intimate relationships can be degraded by internet use, particularly due to viewing online pornography. Malicious online behavior, particularly cyberbullying, cyberstalking, and online predation, affects a significant percentage of internet users. Impaired public or private boundaries. The way in which the internet and smartphones blur the distinction between private and public and between different spheres of life, including work, home life, and leisure, harms the boundaries between people's public and private lives. Harmful effects that can result from such permeations include loss of quality of life, lack of privacy, decreased safety and security, and harm to social relations when friends and family members feel they are left behind by new technology. Harmful effects on cognitive development. empirical evidence suggests that internet use can have both positive and negative impacts on cognitive development depending on the person and their circumstances. There's evidence that children's cognitive development can be damaged by prolonged internet use, including the development of memory skills, attention span, abilities for critical reasoning, language acquisition, reading, and learning abilities. More research is, however, needed to draw more reliable conclusions. Internet addiction is also a rising concern among its users. The constant flow of never-ending information can make a person hook for more. It's so fast that some users feel the need to watch it 24/7, making them exhibit health problems in the long run like eye strains, hand cramps, starvations, and in extreme conditions, death.
Internet privacy, as one of the prevailing issues in the virtual world, must also be paid with attention. The internet opened up communication channels that we had never used before and transferred information at speed across multitude of outlets. There was no layer built into the internet for security or personal identity. Without this layer, making choice about when, to whom, and why to reveal certain data was never going to be straightforward. Cookies were invented to make web surfing easier by keeping certain pieces of information like preferences in your local browser. So when you go back to that same website, your information is used to make the use of the website quicker and simpler. Tracking cookies also impact on your privacy. These cookies collect personal information and send it back to the host for analysis and use. Tracking cookies are used to user profiles' online behavior and use that to market ads back to you. This use of cookies now becomes sketchy to users. The internet, still, is a key role in socializing. Together with many problems involving privacy and data tracking, the internet remains impactful in the social world we interact with daily. This delicate balance brings out the fact that the internet brings great power and influence over a user's life to convenience to efficiency. The internet nowadays dictates how we interact with other people and is becoming the main way of exchanging information. Because of the prevailing threats lurking in the internet, the information a person has does not only threaten the privacy, but also other legal concerns such as identity, bank accounts, and also information systems vital to health and security monitoring, whereby information from these listed figures can be stolen or corrupted. Website imposters that copy a website's homepage that makes you think it is a real site, fooling you to log in and give them your information. Flash advertisements that beg for you to click them is another red flag, as it can lead to malware, viruses, or even lead you to a website that installs spying software on you. While some can be difficult to distinguish, as some can be similar to the original sites, one can still move beyond these ambiguities and counteract these ominous conditions by making sure that the virus definitions are up to date. Visually inspect the website structure if there are parts you can tell that fake. Check the green padlock on the left side of the URL signifying the web certificate and is legally listed at regulatory boards like ICANN. Don't click on suspicious links given by strangers, and never ever give your information to the websites you do not trust or know of. Installing trusted antivirus makers like Avast, Kaspersky, or even Windows Defender can direct you out of dangerous activities whenever it happens. Local government unit enforces fairness in their internet usage, and local agencies like the police can help you. The internet is a busy place and sometimes you can get into conflict without realizing it. Internet etiquette is important for users like us whenever to talk and interact online. Try keeping your messages brief. Short messages avoid information overload, so people receiving these messages have time to think about it and understand. Protecting your personal information is a must. Don't give out your passwords or usernames to strangers online. Bad people also roam the internet. Think before you click is the cheesiest of them all, but also the most factual. Other users who you interact with online are people, and everything that gets in the internet stays in the internet forever. Don't give yourself trouble for nothing. Be kind and help others. Please make sure that others using the internet have an easier usage and fun time. Remember, kindness begets kindness. Don't be an internet troll who just wants to ruin other people's day by cyberbullying, spreading false information. If you encounter one, just don't respond. Make them happy when they see you get annoyed. And lastly, be discreet with what you say. What's on the internet now can still be there in 10 years after. Always be courteous and respectful in your tone of speech to create a positive community within the internet. Knowing the internet slang or shortcuts can also help in being discreet.